Good day, podcast community, podcast Pete Kane, and your business relationship coach. And we have a special guest on. I've been trying to get Paula on the show for about 3 years. So we're going to applaud my persistence, and we want to thank Paula for being on the podcast. So for the people that don't know you, tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and then we'll get into our podcast.
Fantastic. Hi, everyone. So my name is Paula Fine, and my title is Client Relations Director, which is a lot. I do a little marketing, a little sales, a little working with clients for a wonderful private duty home care and skilled nursing agency called Trinity Life at Home. So that's what I do.
I love it. You know, the senior, I love the senior industry because of who you serve, and it's a great community. And as I was telling you before we went on the air, I think you are a community connector. And when I first met you, it was apparent from all the people that knew you that was the case. So tell our viewers, what does it mean to be in community, and how do you use community with what you do?
Sure. So you have to kind of go back to my past in a way. I have always worked with vulnerable populations, but I've also been involved in my synagogue. Even in school as class president, a musician. Community to me is extremely important. And, you develop different relationships with those different groups of people. Mm-hmm. And so I'll be with the company almost 7 years, and the relationships that you build within that alone is incredible. I have actually run into people from 3 jobs ago that got in touch and remembered me. And I just, that Maya Angelou little comment, people will forget what you do and what you say, but they'll always remember how you make them feel.
Yes.
That's what I feel helps me to get my foot in the door with relationships, because I have integrity. I listen to people. I give them that opportunity. When you say community connector, my husband and I have this little joke because he's in sales. We are connectors, and it doesn't have to be job related. I love to help find resources for people. People are constantly calling me for advice on whatever. And it makes me feel like, wow, I'm just really helping people, and it doesn't matter the age. So that's how I feel like I love helping the community.
Well, I love that. And, I do an AI search when I put that in the description for our podcast. So the first thing that came up in that was relationship. It talked about, and this is just, AI is just grabbing all this information from different sources, like all kinds of things. So it's interesting that was the first part. It had community in there too. So what does it mean when you talk about relationships? And I would agree, because I know you. We've had lunch. I've met you at different things. I know what people say about you. How do you use, or how do you pour into relationships? You touched on it a little bit, but it doesn't happen overnight. Did you grow up as a little girl who loved to be around people? How did you get here?
So I'm very blessed to have been with a mom and a dad. I have a sister as well that, obviously they talked about family and how important family is, right? I lost my grandparents pretty early. I think my last grandparent to pass, I was 16. So I didn't have that fortunate, to have my grandparents around. But our family of 4, very tight knit. And my father was a pediatric pulmonologist. So he was one of the most amazing physicians with cystic fibrosis and asthma. And as a little girl, I knew I wanted to get into something that was with helping people, right? So when I think about relationships, it's um, really caring about people. And my family always talked about something called the 5 C's.
Mm-hmm.
I got to remember this: caring or compassion,
Mm-hmm.
commitment, character,
Mm.
communication.
Wow.
When you live by those 5 things,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing what life will bring you, right? And it can be from anywhere. So as a little girl, I'm just going to move back. As a little girl, I was always loving to entertain, be around people. They called me precocious, but I really was a good kid. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
get into trouble, you know. I never even smoked a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
but but it's just loving people. I really do. I love the energy. At home I can relax, and so it gives me the energy, you know, to go out there and get that. I don't know, it gives me that motivation when I'm around
Mm-hmm.
people. Yeah.
I love, I kind of think, and I don't know if you know Molly, she works with Tara. Have you
Uh-huh.
ever met Molly? Okay. Well, she was describing, we were chatting over a phone call, and her husband was pretty much not an introvert, but not doesn't have the bold personality like you do and what Molly does. And so when they got the families together, she said it was like he was like overwhelmed by just the family nature of families that grow up. They like being around each other. Did you find that meeting your husband? Was he, you said he's an extrovert and connector. Was he like you, or did he have to get used to, just that general nature of just wanting to have fun, wanting to be around people? Was there anything that he had to learn in the process of dating you?
That's a great question. We met very young. We met at 21 and
Hmm.
got married at 23. And a matter of fact, Saturday is our 39th wedding anniversary.
Whoa,
Yeah.
congratulations.
So we are very good friends. Yeah. So he was a little more on the introverted side, even though, uh-oh, hello.
Did you freeze up a little?
I don't know. It just went black, the screen. There we
Yeah.
go. I'm sorry about that. I didn't know what happened. Is it on my
Yeah, there
end?
there is a tiny bit. You were delayed a second a minute ago where you froze
Okay.
up a little bit. So there
Okay.
may be just a little interference. It's coming through right. It's coming
Okay.
through for me now.
Okay, I'm all hooked up and everything. So getting back, so my husband, um, he was more on the introverted side, but honestly, like we balance each other amazing. And as we got older, I would say even the first 5 years of marriage, I mean, he's very outgoing in a different way, you
Mhm.
know? Like I'm the person that would get up and sing a song and do things like that, but he is extremely personable and outgoing. I mean, his customers love him. Like I hear the stories, you know, from people
Mhm.
that, you know, he walks into places, hey, hey, you know. So we're kind of a little different, a
Mhm.
little you know, balance, but he was so this is what he told me. He was attracted to the energy and the
Mhm.
fact that I made him feel really good about himself, like I
Mm.
built his ego up. So we're just a good balance, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
39 years says a lot, right?
Yes, it does. It does. And I didn't know until after my stroke that I was a combination of both. I always like needed to recharge my batteries. Like I
Yeah.
love being around people, but I have to also recharge. So it's kind of
Yes.
a both, a little bit of each. What do you think as and I'll say an extrovert because you are like what what creates energy for you when you're out working and when you're around people? What can you share with our viewers? What does that mean to you?
Well, I think, especially in the last 10 years of my life, you know, I've really focused on really being grateful for life, because
Mhm.
working with hospitalized kids and special needs and hospice, I was a volunteer coordinator. You start to appreciate, and you, of all people, know this after going through a stroke, you start to really appreciate that
Mhm.
life is so precious and anything can happen on any given day, right?
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
So I really have practiced waking up and saying, there, as a radio station says, two good things happened to me today. I opened both my eyes. Right? There's a guy on
Yeah.
a jazz station that says that all the time, and it's true. And I
Mhm.
always think about, I'm very blessed that, and when you have that kind of gratitude, it kind
Mhm.
of motivates you to say, I'm going to live my best day today. Now, let me
Mhm.
tell you, there are plenty of days that I come home, I'm drained because of sad situations you hear about with
Mhm.
families. And
Mhm.
um, the good news is I'm an empathetic person, but I'm not an empath. An empath is a person that soaks in everything so much that they can't deal and probably have to go to therapy a lot to
Mhm.
deal with what's going on with other people. I don't have that. My entire life, I've been able to listen to people's problems, but then know how to set the boundary, go home, and be okay. Like, I'm a crier, right? We all have
Mhm.
emotions. I'm very emotional, but then
Mhm.
it goes away. So I'm not someone that just sits in it.
Hmm.
So,
I know you from, creating jingles, creating
mhm,
things. And
yeah,
whenever we would be in conversations and other people, they would remark about how you would step up, play a music instrument, do something creative. I never, but like I would do two things. I love to run before my
yeah,
stroke, and I like to
yeah,
play golf, the competitive nature being outside. I
yeah.
couldn't play either, or I can't do either, but I found journaling and podcasting as that creative
Love it.
arm of what do you say? How does creativity help you? Because you obviously are very creative and do that. How does that generate that that energy or
Yep.
that ability to be in community with people?
Yeah. So it's really interesting. Many 6.5 years ago, when I joined the North Fulton Chamber, Greater North Fulton Chamber, they had a
Mhm.
contest, and it was for the holiday time. Matter of fact, today they had one as well. And they have people, wear the sweaters and make poems, anything holiday to tie into your company.
Mhm.
So I, as a kid, wrote poetry, and I was always writing jingles and things, and it all came back to me, right?
Mhm.
So I started doing that. And then I said, wait a second, there's a lot of home care companies out there. So I'm going to stand out and start singing the jingles. So now I have about 8 of them, and I rotate them, right, for the different holidays and stuff. That has really helped my brain. So this is
Mhm.
one area I will never go to AI or chat GPT or any of that,
Mhm.
because I've got to create it through my brain, right? The other thing is, as a musician, I play saxophone. And I don't know if I told you this, my original career was going to be music therapy. And then
Mhm.
I switched. Well, I go and do music for many seniors,
Mhm.
especially with cognitive issues. So knowing that I'm going to help them awaken for the 1 hour that I'm there, that has really propelled my energy to say it's not only helping me, but I'm
Mm.
helping people. And that really gives me a lot of energy and a lot of positivity. And to get hired every month from 5 communities is a blessing.
Wow. Yeah, there's something magical about a horn. I know
Yeah.
and when people bring them out or I was just in a parade,
Uh-huh.
and they had a number of people had the horns, and there's something
Yeah.
magical about that.
Yeah.
And I do think, because living in a senior community for almost 2 years, when music became part of kind of the culture,
Yeah.
people just blossomed. I mean, it's amazing what they can do for that cognitive part of
Yeah.
us. Did you, like, with your kids, are they musically inclined? Did they pick up that from their mom?
So both my kids started with music, right? But then my
Mhm,
daughter is an amazing artist. She went to art design school and now
mhm,
she's like a VP over a creative company. So
mm,
she's amazing, right? The graphic design, the leadership, amazing. But
mhm,
she can draw anything. But she didn't use that as her career. She got into right. My son is a musician. He's in a band
mm,
in Nashville, trying to make it
mhm.
like a lot of musicians.
Yeah.
Extremely talented keyboardist, backup vocals, and plays sax. So yes, our family very creative. My husband is more the athlete, but loves music and has been to so many concerts in his life and appreciates it. And guess
Mhm.
what we started doing recently for our brains and we started taking dance lessons.
Really?
So we're really, oh my gosh, I mean, real ballroom dancing like the
Yeah,
rumba and the East Coast.
yeah,
It was his idea, by the way. He's been talking about it for 25 years.
yeah.
So, yeah. So all that, we're a
Yeah,
very musical family. Yeah.
I love that. I had a person on my podcast, and she was a mental, like, performance coach, and
Cool.
she worked with, a lot of different younger people, but
Hmm.
she took up ballroom dancing with her husband. Now
Yeah.
she's in competition, and they're
Oh,
just, I mean, she has told me a number of things that they're
yeah.
doing. She was going to speak at our live event. She goes, I got a competition that day. So, and she just couldn't say enough about that journey. So
Yeah.
how long have you put your toe into ballroom dancing?
We
That you
started in August and
Mhm,
we did take part in it was a fun competition, not as individuals. We were in
mhm.
group. I mean, we obviously danced together. And people were like, "What? You've only been dancing like this and you have the courage to do this?" But I don't know if that's where we want to go. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, the dance community at Fred Astaire, there's a whole community of fabulous people,
Mm.
right? But we're doing this to have fun, a good time. We've
Mhm.
always been good dancers, but we've never known proper dancing, right?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, my a former bookkeeper, they took it up later in life, and
Yeah,
now it's just part of their routine, and
it's
he was
awesome.
always encouraging me, but I never did it, but, when I keep hearing stories about
Yes,
that journey, and it's amazing what each person says about that, because it
yes,
is a community when you're with those
yeah,
people, you are
yeah,
learning proper moves because we all go to the weddings and you know
yes,
and it's the ones that really can dance like that. Everybody's amazed by it. They're just like watching them flow. It's just a
yeah,
movement that is wonderful to
yeah,
watch, and
yeah,
it's obviously a skill. What would you
yeah.
say when you look at the community of Fred Astaire, like,
Mm.
these are people you never knew until you got in the class?
Oh
Are these
yeah, yeah. There's just a bunch of people that you see, and they're just so kind and nice, and even the instructors. Like when Hal and I took part in that little, so the I think it was the Buckhead studio against the Duluth studio, which we were in, and it was
Mhm.
fun. And but they sent us a card. Which was handwritten, and she's just like, "You guys were amazing. Thank you so much for taking part in this. We love you guys." Like, just really nice. And sometimes people aren't couples, right? There's a lot of single people that go. They just want to learn how to dance. Let me tell you what it does for the brain. It's amazing. I mean,
Mhm.
Hal is like, oh my God, because he has to be the leader. Like he has to memorize his steps. You're supposed to follow
Mm.
the man. And I tend to be, as the musician with rhythm, I tend to lead. But in this class, I have not led a bit. Like I'm like, take it
Mm.
away. I'm not going to lead. So
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I heard, like, this was years ago, like, the cab drivers in London, because they have to memorize the streets and all, it rewired their brain to be so much better because they had
Yes.
to learn it. So when you say the cognitive set, share with our viewers, like, what have you seen the benefit by having, obviously you're thinking because you're following a lead and you always got to be thinking. How has that helped you that you could kind of share with our community of what that means for the cognitive part of the brain?
So it's been proven. So muscle memory. So what it's starting to do is, right, you have to learn the steps, the basic footsteps, whatever, right? I mean, I
Hmm.
watch these instructors just flow and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're like, yeah, we've been dancing for 20 years, you know. I took ballet, tap, jazz. I danced for probably 7 years of my life, right? And then
Hmm.
saxophone took over. But it really does, because think about it, you're doing right and left. So you have the
Hmm.
midline of the brain, so
Hmm.
everything is crossing over. When things
Hmm.
cross over the midline of your brain, you are stimulating all these neurons and it's synapsing all the time. So any new skill you learn does the same thing. With dancing, because it's repetitive, at some point the muscle memory kicks in and you're just going to do the steps and you just follow your partner wherever he leads you. Matter of fact, they said even if he makes a mistake, you just follow him, right?
Hmm.
So dancing has been proven to literally help cognitive issues and at least keep them at bay and prevent things from getting worse. So, but it's also, I mean, it's good for anybody, obviously. It's just a wonderful exercise.
As I'm listening to you talk and share that creative side,
Mhm.
I study the brain too. I'm fascinated by how we learn,
Yes.
and somebody, I don't know who it was, but they were sharing that the average person watches 4 hours of TV and scrolls over 2 hours and of social media. So that's consumption. And then you have the other side, which is the creating side, which you've been explaining and talking to our community about.
Yes.
And that's where we get life, from creating things. Would
Yes.
you like share, like, I'm just amazed at the aliveness of my guests who talk like you're talking about the creative side.
Yep.
Do you feel that you've seen that because you are so creative, that that explains the excitement, the energy that you have?
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. So let me just explain. So when I do music
Mm-hmm.
for communities, I'm not an entertainer as much as I am an engager. My
Mm.
role is not to be the Kenny G, right?
Mm-hmm.
I bring my music. I'm not memorizing anything. But what I do, I also bring drums and sticks and mallets. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually bring people back to childhood songs where we're
Ooh.
doing rhythms and tapping. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
sing songs like Down by the Bay, you know that one where the
Yeah.
watermelons grow.
Yeah.
And then they have to come up with farm animals. I come up with Hickory Dickory Dock because you have to count when the clock.
Yes.
I do rhythms where I'm singing, and I came up with this all kind of improvisational, but now I
Mm-hmm.
have kind of a every time I go. And obviously, every month it's like I'm doing something new because they have cognitive issues, but they have the essence of me. They kind of remember that Paula has come once a month. So the creativity that I'm doing
Yeah.
is literally bringing them to a point of, I mean, it's unrecognizable to a lot of the people that see them kind of like this. And then the music, it just, they're all participating, they're
Mm-hmm.
counting, they're humming rhythms. It's incredible. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that when we ever discover our creative side, it
Yeah.
does bring life to us. What is Paula excited about? We're winding down our year for next year. Could you share, like, what you're excited about most?
Sure. Well, I'm very excited because in 9 days, my daughter's probably going to be induced and I'm going to be a Gigi. So she's
Dang!
going to have her first little girl.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh
So
my
my
God.
husband and I are very excited about that. And I said, I'm going to be doing the music with her.
That
But
is nice.
I'm
Oh,
just excited that 7 years with the company, that to me is
yeah.
huge in the home care industry. I'm
Yes.
excited to be doing more presentations and speaking in front of people. Um, I'm very excited about 2026. I feel like I'm just going to take what I have now and push it even further.
Well, I don't know if it's possible, but I'd like to bottle your energy and
You're so
start
funny.
selling it out there because we would have an absolute wonderful product. It
You're so
is.
sweet.
I mean, I've always, we would have some fun when I would see you at different meetings, and I
Yeah.
did, just kind of see that there's something unique and different about the energy that you would give off. And grandkids, I have them from 6 months to 11 years, and I have six girls, and there's
Wow.
nothing more enjoyable about being around your grandkids. It is
Yeah.
like it's almost, you hear that everybody say, "Hey, why didn't we have grandkids before we had kids?" It's like, because it is so much fun. So the future
Yeah.
of, I can only imagine what you'll be able to teach your grandkids because it
Yeah.
is a beautiful thing. And
Thank you.
so you're going to be a Mimi. Is that
No,
you've
no,
selected
Gigi. Gigi.
Gigi?
Way
Uh,
before
Yeah.
they were even thinking of kids. She had asked me a long time ago, like if we ever did, and I go, oh, I'm a Gigi. And then my husband's gonna be Papa.
Ah, that is so good. Because I always, people will say, because we've, having that many, they'll say, like,
Mhm.
I always ask people, because I have a podcast, Granny and Grandpa podcast. So I
I
always
love that.
want to, oh, I know, because it's just people want to tell their grandkids stories. And it's
Yes.
so cool to be able to get, everybody has a unique name. And if you
Yeah.
don't grab your name, then your grandkids will give you a name. And I know, like my father-in-law was I'm trying to think. Um, it's a funny name because it was given to him by the first grandchild.
Oh, gotcha.
Drawing a blank, but it was like, it's not a normal name, but it's a name that comes out of kids. So I
Yeah.
always tell people, you better own your name or your grandkids will give you the name, and it may not be what you want from
I've
your
heard
kids.
that. Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
can believe that I'll be making a poem or something. I'm your Gigi. Yes, I am.
Yes. Oh, yes. That is going to be so cool. So
Yeah.
that is exciting. Well, I want to be respectful of the time because you are a person on the move. Paula is always, and I have that jingle that you did for me, and I'm going to get somebody this year to put some words to it and stuff. So we may
Well, no,
see that.
not word. Wait,
I
wait,
mean,
wait. I already
music
did
to
the
words.
words. Music.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
music
Yes.
to the words. And I
Yep.
had a person, but I lost connection to them, so I've just kept it in like the back of my
Sure.
whatever
Sure.
to come out with that because I love it because I love the way you put it together. So what would you? Oh, you know what? I forgot to ask. Like, tell
Yes.
our viewers how can they get a hold of you? I usually have a banner, but we had some trouble getting
No
connected.
worries.
How can people get hold of you, Paula?
So I am on LinkedIn,
Okay.
Paula Fine. Yep, you can find me there. A lot of people don't do Facebook, but whatever. And I honestly, when you Google me, Paula R middle initial Fine, I do pop up. Because I have worked for several companies, but again, this is a really good company that I've worked for years, so you can do that. I'm also at an email. Can I share my email?
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
if
We'll put it
anyone
in the
ever
show
needs,
notes
yep,
too.
yep,
But yeah, share it with our audio listeners.
sure. So it's
Listeners.
P Fine at And then the company name is spelled out trinitylifeathome.com. So Trinity Life at Home.
Awesome.
Thank you
Man,
so
that's so
much,
good.
Pete.
So I have one final question, Paula, before you
Oh,
leave
okay.
us. What would you want our viewers to take home from our time on this podcast? The one thing.
I think people should know that I am a connector and I'm willing to help people. Just a conversation. So anybody can reach out to me, whatever they need.
That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Paula. We appreciate you taking the time to share with our community your journey. And I love relationships and community. Those are two things that are just jump out at the page. And thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thanks, Pete. It was a pleasure.